The late great Julian Bond of the NAACP said, "Good things don't come to those who wait. Rather, it only comes to those who agitate." You ought to be agitated enough to use your voice today by casting your vote. Don't allow yourself to be put on mute. In the midst of red states versus blue states, Democrats versus Republicans, policies versus personalities, tyranny versus integrity, don't sit this one out by just being a spectator. Today, be a participator by taking your souls to the polls. Let's have a courageous conversation today entitled Vote or Veto: Why Indecision is a Decision. You know what's up. Turn me up. I'm mic'd up. Join me and let's mix it up. What's good people? How you doing? How you living? What's going on? What's happening? I hope you are doing well. I hope today you're wearing your crown. Yeah, to every king, to every queen, sincere salute. You know, we're going to have a courageous conversation of illumination. Hit the thumbs up button in this video. Come on, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you do that. Come on, do that now. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Also do need you to make sure that we do what we always do to have this conversation of illumination. We got to pay the light bill. Come on, family, drop some light bulb emojis in the chat. As a matter of fact, let's light it up. Let's turn the brightness all the way up. Yeah, let's flip the switch on it. We too lit to quit. We're going to stay lit. 100 watts. We're going to keep it 100. Why? Because we are the light of the world. As we have this conversation of illumination, let's spotlight, let's highlight this particular topic on our channel for change, our channel that creates change, our channel that breaks chains. And we're going to use this particular topic today called Vote or Veto: Why Indecision is a Decision. On this election day, I have selected to talk about this topic. How could we not? It's not just the elephant in the room, it's the elephant in the country. Leadership is on the line today. And what I understand about leadership, that being a leader is hard work, but it's heart work. Here it is. Heart work is heroic. Too many people are confusing being a leader with being a celebrity. Too many people today would rather be popular than powerful. They would rather be celebrated than dedicated. They would rather seek applause than roll up their sleeves for a dynamic cause. Dr. Cornel West, one of the great philosophical thinkers of our time, declared, "You can't save the people if you won't serve the people. You can't lead them if you won't love them. You can't lead the people if you won't love the people." Here's what I understand about leadership. A leader, exemplifying good leadership, is self-aware. They possess the ingredients of emotional, relational, and spiritual intelligence. So as a result of possessing those particular qualities and those traits, here's what they are. They are servant leaders. Servant leadership is more concerned about we than it is about me. Servant leadership is more concerned about reconciliation than recognition. Servant leadership is more concerned about reward than award. Right? And the reward is the heroic cause. If I can help somebody as I travel along, then my living will not be in vain. Dr. King declared it, and he mentioned it, that everybody can be great simply because anybody can serve. You only need a heart full of grace. You only need a soul generated by love. Heart full of grace, soul generated by love, a mind to serve. That is what will transform our communities. Why? Because the greatest leader is the greatest servant. Scripture even says, he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Essence of greatness is servitude. Essence of greatness is leadership. Servant leadership. Because it's about more than just having a position. Because if you have a position, you have a title with no function, you're just in a position. Leadership is more than just a title or a position. Leadership is a function. And I need you to hear me. This country doesn't just need a self-serving grifter. This country needs a selfless servant leader. Come on, family. Just type vote. Type vote. Type vote. Type vote. Type leadership. James Baldwin, one of the greatest writers of the 21st century, or the 20th century rather, said to be black in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear brothers and sisters, family, oh, say can you see what is happening in this country? Oh, say can you see what is happening in our society? Those who are vulnerably housed, those who do not have economic empowerment that look like me, those who are food insecure, those who are between jobs, those who are dealing with the vitriolic racism and ineptitude. Oh, say, can you see what's happening in this country? From sea to shining sea, I hope you open your eyes to see what is going on. I hope you open your eyes to see what the things of what it is that are causing us to suffer in this country. I'm on the front lines. I'm out here in our community. I got a pulse on the pain and the pressure of what people are experiencing. As we, at our church, the Remnant Worshipers, grateful to God to be the lead pastor of that church, as we serve those who are least, last, lost, left out, overlooked, underserved, and underrepresented, being the heart and the hands of Jesus, according to Matthew chapter 25. When I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was naked, did you clothe me? When I was thirsty, did you give me drink? When I was in prison, did you visit me? If you did it to the least of these, you did it unto me. Who's caring for the least? This is America. When we're looking at the chasm, and we're looking at the chaos, and we're looking at the crisis of what is going on in these yet to be United States of America, we can't just fan the flames of fire and fury and frustration. We got to put out the flames. Pandemic didn't end, y'all. It just evolved. It evolved into a particular penchant for political polarization, politricks of what it is that we're seeing. Sadly, there's a clarion call. And sadly, there has been no clarion call. And there's got to be one that's made to make America great for the first time. Yeah, for the first time. Talking about making it great again. Make it great for the first time. When you're looking at inequality, when we're looking at the asbestos of a supremacist attitude that suffocates our society, America's temperature has always been above normal for the last 400 years. And this nation's sickness is at a fever pitch. I need you to hear me now more than ever before. There's got to be a new paradigm shift. It can't happen by thinking small. It can't happen by doing the same things the same old way, because we'll continue to get the same old results. It can't happen simply because nothing changes. If nothing changes, if we don't evolve, we won't be involved. We got to build a longer table, not just a taller fence. More than just demanding a seat at the table, here's what we got to do. We got to create our own table, because generally when we have not been at the table, we have been on the menu. We got to come together to build our own table. We got to come together to say, whosoever will, let them come. Pull up a seat. Bring something with you. Bring a folding chair. Bring a tool of transformation to build a beloved community. I need you to hear me. One of the greatest skills of the 21st century is not technology. One of the greatest skills of the 21st century It's not software development. It's not IoT, the Internet of Things. It's not nanotechnology. It's not big data. It is the skill of critical thinking. And here's what we have to do. We have to think critically in a chaotic world. Too many of us are crippled by scarcity mindset. Too many of us are crippled by vision snipers and limited beliefs and stinking thinking that keeps us sulking and sinking. When we need to adopt a transformed mindset. I need you to hear me. Chains are no longer metal. Now they're mental. And one of the prominent problems of the 21st century is the same problem of the 21st. One of the problems of the 21st century is the same problem of the 20th century. As W.B. Du Bois echoed, as Booker T. Washington mentioned, that the problem is the problem of the color line. America continues to cross the line by crippling people of color. And more than ever before, in this consequential election, here's what we have to do. Not just on election day, but even after election day. Strategize, mobilize, organize, prioritize. We're grateful for voter registration, but we also need voter education. Got to be really educated about who it is that you're voting for. We got to ensure that our Gen Zs and our millennials hit the polls. We got to ensure that our Gen Xers and our baby boomers are there. We have to make sure that our senior citizens today have adequate transportation and mobility services to navigate the polls. Right? In the midst of voter suppression, we need to be present at polling places. We can't be turned away by intimidation. We can't be turned away by suppression. We're not going back. We're going forward. We're not turning back. We're going forward. This is all or nothing right now. It's all or nothing. We got to be all in. Come on, family. Just type I'm all in. I'm all in against tyranny. I'm all in for integrity. I'm all in to push our people to the next dimension. Forward ever, backward never. I need you to hear me. We have to not only vote at the top of the ticket for national change, for the presidency, but we got to vote at the bottom of the ticket because local change matters. And to a certain degree, we're going to feel the effects of local change more than we will of just national change. Our local elections matter just as much as our national election. Who we put in as judges and police commissioners and state government and mayors and city clerks and policies and education board holders. Those positions matter. Voter registration, voter education, voter participation, particularly education and participation, is needed and necessary. We can't afford to sit on the sidelines, y'all. We have to engage on the front line. And your lack of a decision is an indecision. Indecision is a decision. We got to engage on the front line as we take our souls to the polls. We can't have one foot in, one out. We can't straddle the fence right here. We can't be lukewarm. You're either hot or you're cold. You're either in or you're out. It's either all or it's nothing at all. And here's the thing about voting. Voteless people are hopeless people. Got to use our voice with our vote. Voting is not just a civil right. It's a human right. Let me say that twice because it's also nice. Voting is not just a civil right. Voting is a human right. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't use voter intimidation against you. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't use suppressive types of language, xenophobia and bigotry to stop you from exercising it. If it didn't matter, they would have never been literacy tests and poll taxes at the voting booth to dissuade our sainted ancestors. Do your black job. Do your job, despite whatever race that you are. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. We were lynched because we wanted to vote. They killed, they fire hose, they sick dogs on us to prevent us from casting our ballot. And here's what we have to do. We have to engage in the fierce urgency of now and vote. I don't care who you may have to pick somebody up to take them to the polls. Do it. May have to send somebody an Uber to do it. Come on, let's do that. We got to engage in the fierce urgency of now and vote. This is a vote for America versus tyranny. This is a vote for America versus bigotry and sexism and racism and classism. The voting lines may be long, but injustice has gone on for far too long. Maybe a little chilly outside, but far too long. We've been frozen by fear, and we got to move forward this year. You may have to social distance, right? But here's what we've been. We've been social distance from social justice for far too long. And what we have to do is we got to exercise our civil right. We have to exercise our human right with the right to vote. Here's the question to you. Will you be a first responder to the crippling effects of neo-fascism? Will you be a first responder to the crippling effects of racism and xenophobia and bigotry? We're not just going to stand back and stand by. We got to be all in. We got to be on the move now. Like an idea whose time has come. Not even the marching army, not even the marching mighty armies of injustice can halt us. Can't stand back, can't stand by. We got to stand up to systemic racism. Because hear me, after you pray on your knees, you got to lift your vote with your voice by using your hands and your feet. What's the cause? What's the cause? Got to be, as the late great Fannie Lou Hamer said, got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Look at the wealth inequality gap. Continues to soar. Is there not a cause to mitigate that issue? Is there not a cause when our people comply and still die at 99% of the time? When black people are killed by police officers, they receive no justice? Is there not a cause to disrupt the preschool to prison pipeline, where second and third graders' reading scores are used as a barometer to gauge how many prisons they need to build? Is there not a cause when environmental and economic injustice rages like a firestorm? Is there not a cause when you're looking at those who are least last laws, left out, overlooked, underserved, and underrepresented, don't even have enough food insecure, can't even buy groceries, inflation? We got to redistribute our money. We got to redistribute our resources with people who look like us. If you got a black business, support a black business. If you don't have a black business, support a black business. We have to engage in what I like to say, reverse looting, reverse economic looting, by selecting who we're going to spend our $1.5 trillion buying power with. When and with whom we're going to put our money behind by voting with our pocketbook. As I said before, of what the former chairman of the NAACP, the late great Julian Bond, said, good things don't come to those who wait. It only comes to those who agitate. And have you become so cynical and desensitized to violence and impoverished communities and unemployment and mass incarceration, lack of opportunities, that you refuse to agitate the system and speak truth to power? When we got a perverse candidate in Donald Trump, who, as Dr. King would say that his racism, his vicious racism, as his lips drip with the words of interposition and nullification, to where he wears a mask over his eyes but not his mouth, having the unmitigated gall to call himself the best president for black people since Abraham Lincoln. Trump is not Honest Abe. He's Dishonest Don. He's not Lincoln. He's Andrew Jackson. Saying he's the least racist, but you never heard them say that he's not a racist at all. Just continues to do the most to perpetuate racism. If you're not angry, then you're not paying attention. Scripture says you will know a tree by the fruit that it bears. What are you rooted in? Because based upon your root is going to dictate your fruit. I got to pause for the cause right here. You don't want to touch that dial. I got a lot more to say as we engage in the fierce urgency of now. Listen, if you haven't voted, while you listen to this podcast, take yourself to the polls. Play it and don't play around. Play it while you're headed to the polls. Got a special message in the midst of this special message. I want you to stick and stay. More is coming your way. After these messages, I will be right back. Our schools are underfunded, teachers are underpaid, and our children are undereducated. Our classrooms, culture, curriculum, and communities are in crisis like never before. Education is the key, but the lock is broken. So how do we fix it? I'm so glad that you asked. I'm giving you strategies in my new book. It's my 17th book, by the way, called Strategies for Successful Schools. How to develop a diverse classroom of learners who read, lead, and succeed. This is a book that's available right now for our educational leaders. It's a must-read for school board members, parents, community advocates, transformative teachers, and yes, for those of you who desire to see our children lead and succeed. But not only that, so many of our young people are struggling with their academics, their mental well-being, limiting beliefs, procrastination, interpersonal trauma, and just feeling like they're hopeless. But what if there was a go-to guide to empower you to be a champion and our children to be a champion and empower them to overcome challenges? Here's the good news. I've got another book for you. It's my 18th one. Learners are Leaders, Strategies and Solutions for Student Success. It's got a 31-day journal in there. It's got affirmations, really a lot of valuable life lessons, ways to set smart goals for success, improve your mental well-being, foster academic success. So much more that is in store when you get not just one, but both of these books. They're both available right now on Amazon. Yeah, go get it right now. But also, you can get signed copies that are available at theeaglesacademy.com/books. Don't just get them for you, but also get them for someone else too. Yes, y'all, and we don't stop. Come on, family, I need you to heed to these resources that you've heard. Let's get back to the word. We're talking about voter veto. Why indecision is a decision. Family, we're having a courageous conversation. Drop a super chat, drop a super sticker. Yeah, drop a super chat, drop a super sticker. If you're not a part of our Eagles community, I encourage you to join. Empowering you to soar into greater success and purpose. We have amazing sessions and where I'm just teaching, coaching, training, mentoring you. You want to be a part of my mentoring sessions. I want you to go right now to theeaglesacademy.com, theeaglesacademy.com. When you get there, tap the join now button, fill out the form. I guarantee you'll be transformed. Become a member of In the Mix. How you just going to watch In the Mix, but not become a member of In the Mix? All you have to do is just click the link, tap the link in our description of this video as well as in our chat. And as a matter of fact, choose one of those particular levels, VIP, royalty, OQP. And my gift to you is to give you access to our members only area. Membership has its privileges. Go ahead and choose one of those areas. You get a badge. Yeah, salute to all of our amazing In the Mix members. You know, you can tell that they're a member because their comments are color coded. I want you to be one of those members as well. Go ahead and get one. Talking about voter veto. Indecision is a decision. 4 years ago, if you think about it, we were not only dealing with COVID-19, but we were dealing and fighting against COVID-45 at the same time. Yeah, COVID-45. COVID-45 was occupying the White House, and his words are not just simply viral, but a virus due to the venomous evil that was in his heart. That red hat, symbolic of fear, fury, firestorm, frustration. Red hat, hat red. Say that over again. Hat red, hatred of what it is that we continue to see. We hear the chants of make America great again, but do we have amnesia in these, what is it, the United States of amnesia? How do we forget to remember that this country never was great for black people, people like me, who this country is built upon our black bodies that were boarded on ships like cargo. Was this country great when you lynched and castrated our brothers? Was it great when you beat and raped our mothers and our daughters? Was America great when you stole the land from the Native Americans? When you used peace treaties disguised as tyranny? Was it great? And when you think about indecision being a decision, we got to make a decision not to sit this one out, but to engage in the fierce urgency of now. I want to talk to the undecided voters right quick. Listen, y'all, we're in the 11th hour. Getting late in the evening, as the church folks said. The election is too consequential for you to sit this one out. I need you to hear me loud and clear. Indecision is a decision. No vote for either candidate is a vote for Trump. Got no time for indifference. Now is the time to make a difference. Get off the sidelines. Get in the game. Stop spectating. Start participating. You know you're registered to vote. Cast your ballot today. How long are you going to halt between two opinions? How long are you going to halt between two candidates? Yeah, I'm calling you out because it's time to make a decision to go all in. That's why 2 Peter says, therefore, my brothers and sisters, make every effort to confirm your calling and election, spiritually, but also naturally. Yeah, we've castigated against Trump, but let's look at Kamala Harris. If she were to come on this podcast, what are we going to ask of her after we cheer? If she were to walk into your church, what are you going to ask of her after you cheer, after we shake hands, after we take photos? What are we going to ask of Kamala Harris if she becomes president? Yeah, I'm with her. But beyond the opposition and the plot, what is our plan? Simply because a dream without a plan is just a hallucination. There's a number of black men today who are frustrated and wondering, what is my vote going to do for me? Black women who are voting as well, who stand with the Democratic Party more than anybody else. What is the plan after Election Day? When they're building prisons based on second and third grade reading scores, not to only lock up black men, but also locking up the fastest growing prison population, which consists of black women. But here's what we want to do. We want to glorify Glorilla and Megan Thee Stallion instead of Nikki Giovanni and Madam C.J. Walker. What is the plan when it's easy to get a scholarship for athletics, but you got to sign your life away and take out a loan for academics? What is the plan when we are the last being hired, but the first being fired? What is the plan? When we have a $1.5 trillion buying power, but we only spend 1% of our resources with people who look like us. But if we took that 1% to 10%, we could create 1 million new jobs. What is the plan when the average net worth of a black woman is only $500? And there's an inflation on eggs, but a deflation on building your own financial nest egg. What is the plan? Come on, family, just type, we need a plan. Come on, family, just type, we need a plan. To all of you beautiful sisters, sorority members, what is the plan? When you are the most consistent voting populace for the Democratic Party since 2008. And what have they delivered to you? They've delivered nothing to you more than just smokescreen symbolism. What is the plan? When it seems as if both parties have put us in a precarious position. Because people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And I need you to hear me. We got to have strategy. Because after all is said and done, more is said than done. What they're saying is that Kamala Harris taking the White House, or a lack thereof, is going to be decided by the hands of black men. Through affliction, through advancement in this nation, black women, I need you to hear me, they've always had our back. But the question is, will we have theirs? Will we have hers? Black women have always been on the front lines, and it would be an indictment. We'd be derelict if we kept them on the front lines while we remained on the sidelines. As brothers, we just can't say, no, I ain't voting for no woman. I ain't gonna follow no woman. Come on now. You followed that woman across the street. You followed that woman in the mall. You followed her to the club. You followed that particular woman you were interested in church. You followed her down the aisle to say, I do. You follow her in the house. Why can't you follow her in the White House? It's a black woman who birthed you. It's a black woman who bathed and burped you. It's a black woman who's always been beholden to you. She's loved you. She's lifted you. She's more than qualified. Lifted you because she's, in many cases, been qualified to carry the burden of the back of many of the burdens of what it is that we experience in this nation. Got to make it make sense, because the math ain't mathing. It was A. Philip Randolph who said, no nation can rise, here it is, without its women. A lot of patriarchy, a lot of misogyny, a lot of sexism going on when it comes to black women leveling up in leadership. Some of us are struggling to support a black woman because we have unresolved issues with the black women in our lives, with the black woman who raised us, with the black woman who might be the spouse in your house, with the black woman who might be the coworker who got a promotion and now you see her leadership as a detriment. But I believe that in the midst of seasons of suffering, to where it felt as if this year has been nothing but haunting Halloween, that God is granting a pause. God is giving us a reprieve, if you will. In the midst of a Trump rant, in the midst of a Trump run-on sentence, here's what God will do. God will place a comma in the midst of mess. God will place a comma in the midst of a run-on sentence. Don't let people put a period where God placed a comma, or here it is, a Kamala, for that matter, because he has chosen her for such a time as this. Here's what God is doing. God has given us a Selah for the silent sufferings of this season that we've experienced. And more than anything, we have to ask the question, even as we look at these candidates today, who's talking about education? Who's talking about the poor? We need economic access to not just survive, but to thrive. We need safety and security. We need access to resources. This is what we are looking for as a people. But what I love about in 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and 14, if my people which are called by my name will humble themselves, pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sins and heal the land. Our land is hurting. Our land is broken. Our land is divided. Our land is divisive. We need healing. Proverbs 29 declared, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. It's a lot of mourning going on. It's a lot of turbulence and tribulation and trepidation. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sinners reproach any people. And no matter who is chosen, here's what I understand of Scripture says, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it whithersoever he will. We're called on to be the most heroic during our greatest hardship. And here's what we can't do. We can't move into a place of selective mutism. We can't allow the strain and the pain of life to silence us. We got to refuse to keep our voices silent. We got to speak out. We got to speak up. Why? Because as a consequence, our silence becomes violence. Silence is betrayal. When I think about the life of the late, great Maya Angelou, she was dealing with vitriolic rage and abuse and the things that she harbored in her life. She at one time was a caged bird who didn't sing. And due to her hardship, from the ages of 5 years, from the ages of 8 to 13, she experienced such abuse to where she didn't even speak. And I want to ask you, at what age did you stop speaking truth to power? At what age did life give you laryngitis? What genius is trapped within you because you decided to harbor your heroism in your heart? It takes heroism. It takes the heroic courage of a champion like you to speak from your heart, to use your voice as a vote, to allow your vote to be your voice. Don't allow anybody to mute your message. Don't allow negativity to pause your poetry. Don't allow anybody to invalidate your ideas. It's time to use your voice. Time to use your vote. It's time to get into a particular place and say, listen, I'm not going to panic. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to prosper. I'm going to remain poised. I'm going to be positioned for promotion. In the midst of bad times, the good news is what my grandmother would say, trouble don't last always. The good news is that you're coming out stronger than you went in. I know it's the fourth quarter. I know it seems like we're down. I know it seems like we're out. But here's what I understand. Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. I know you've been knocked down, but a knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. It's not over until you win. 2024 won't finish you. you're going to finish 2024 better than where you started it. It's all or nothing. Come on, family. Type it's all or nothing. Type all or nothing. All or nothing. All or nothing now. I'm too far past the shore to look back. I'm going for more. It's all or nothing now. It's time to be all in. Right now. You'll finish 2024 strong if you do your job. Your job today is to vote. Your job today is to make it happen. Your job today is to go for it. Today is the day to do your black job. It's either the AKA or the KKK. You got a black job. That J is for justice. That O is for opportunities. That B is for ballots. That's your job. Justice, opportunities, ballots, because your vote is your voice. You ought to be using your voice to say no justice, no peace. We don't want bail. We want the ballot. We're not going to halt between two opinions. Not going to halt between two candidates. We don't want a false prophet for profit. We want a real president to set the precedent. In order to do it, we got to be relentless. We got to be radical. We got to be resilient. We got to be revolutionary. We got to fight by any means necessary. Forward ever, backward never. We stand on the shoulders of a Fannie Lou Hamer and a Rosa Parks and a Shirley Chisholm and a Nikki Giovanni and a Maya Angelou and a Malcolm and a Martin and a Medgar and a Mandela. You got to say we will not be moved. Forward ever, backward never. We ain't come this far to let anybody turn us around. Silencing the doubters, the critics, the cynics, the skeptics. And not allowing them to put a period where God placed a comma. I need you to hear me. As long as you got a pulse, you got a purpose. You've been chosen to be a change agent. You've been chosen to be a trendsetter, a trailblazer, a mover, a shaker, a record breaker, a dominator, a history maker, to do what's never been done before, to go where you've never gone before. Where will you stand on the side of history? You come from heroes. Don't let people make you see yourself as a villain. You come from a chosen generation. You're part of a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation of peculiar people to show forth the praise of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. You can't vote for darkness. Time for you to choose light. Come on, family. Drop some light bulb emojis in the chat. Drop some light bulb emojis in the chat. Don't just sit back. Don't just cross your fingers. Don't just hope for the best. But get off your couch and vote. Put down your phone, pick up your ballot and vote. Grab your friends and family and vote. Let your favorite word be no from now on. Yeah, I'm putting the no in November. No more dog whistling from a perverse past president who acts like he has no precedent or principles. Like a boy to defend Proud Boys. No decorum, no decency, no denouncing of white supremacy. We must say no to it on this day. Put the no in November so we can make America great for the first time. I'm Dr. Eddie Connor, the newly elected president, the newly elected pastor with a precedent of the Remnant Worshipers Ministry. And I just stopped by to let you know that you've been elected. Come on, family, just type I've been elected. You've been elected to not solely be an employee, but an employer. You've been elected to break generational curses. You've been elected to bring your family unity. You've been elected to bring unity into your community. You've been elected not to veto, but to vote. You've been elected not to be a person of indecision, but a person of decision. You've been elected now to speak truth to power. You've been elected to manifest a vision with provision. You've been elected to be the first millionaire in your family. You've been elected to walk in healing. You've been elected to move into a place of grace. You've been elected to move into the highest office of opportunity. You've been elected to be a servant leader. You've been elected for the best marriage. You've been elected to break through what was broke. You've been elected to break through what broke you. You've been elected to feed your community. You've been elected to bring unity. You've been elected to transform. You've been elected to transition. You've been elected not to conform, but to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You've been elected to see miracles, signs, and wonders. You've been elected to use your gifts to bring breakthrough to a generation. Will you neglect or will you elect? Integrity over tyranny. It's time to elect. It's time to use your voice. Not in a place of neglect, but in a place of election. You've been elected by God to do greater things, and greater works than these shall ye do. It's our opportunity, as Micah said, to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. Use your voice with your vote. Go out, make it happen. Be a history maker, a trailblazer, and a record breaker. Come on, family, just type I'm all in. Type I'm all in. I'm all in. I want you to be all in this particular aspect, to where this is good ground. Yeah, this is good ground. We're doing the work. In our church, the Remnant Worshipers Ministry, as we have fed close to 1,000 people already in just a few weeks' time since I have become the pastor of the Remnant Worshipers here in the city of Detroit. You can help us to do greater works. You can help us to empower so many people locally, nationally, and globally in our church and outside of the four walls of our church, as we are the hands and the heart of Jesus. I would that you would sow into this good ground here, not as a debt that you owe, it is a seed that you sow. I want you to sow where you soar. I want you to sow where you grow. This is where you grow. I want you to sow. This is where you soar. I want you to sow. Links in the chat, links in the description of this video for how to sow, where to sow, Cash App, $Access Identity, PayPal, Zelle, Eddie Connor Jr., Gmail. You can drop a super chat, a super sticker. We appreciate you. For those of you who are watching us, yes, on YouTube, but also on our social media sister satellite stations, you can sow into this. Help us to broaden this broadcast. Take this message to nations and neighborhoods, cities and communities like yours, and you can help us to do that. I want to join my faith with yours that God does exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think, 30, 60, 100-fold in your life, your mind, soul, and your spirit. As you're sowing your seed, I want you to name your seed. Come on, maybe you're naming your seed healing. Maybe you're naming your seed heal. Maybe you're naming your seed decision. Maybe you're naming your seed transformation. Maybe you're naming your seed miracles, signs, and wonders. I don't know what you're naming your seed, but I want you to name your seed. I want to join my faith with yours, that God shifts you and your life for such a time as this. Once again, Cash App, $Access Identity, PayPal, Zelle, Eddie Connor Jr. at Gmail as well. Super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much for sowing into this podcast that has empowered you. If you're not a member of our In the Mix family, become a member of our In the Mix family. Yeah. All you have to do is tap the link in the bio, tap the link in the description of the video, tap the link in our live chat, link in the chat, link in the description of this video. Yeah, come on. Do that. And you'll see VIP Royalty OQP. Choose one of those tiers, and my gift to you is to give you access to our members only area, where I empower you, where I speak life into you, where you get some close up conversation and connection to see some behind the scenes of what it is that I do to empower people, amazing individuals like you. Family is about division. It's not about division, it's about unity. So much about division these days, and we got to be united more than ever before. In the midst of red states, blue states, in the midst of Democrats and Republicans, in the midst of policies and personalities and tyranny and integrity, we got to have some unity. And unity comes with clarity. Because at the end of the day, like we say in communities where I come from, east side of Detroit, we all we got. And that can't stop. If you're not a member of our Eagles community, to really partner with me, if you really want to partner with me, all you have to do is become a member of my Eagles community. The link is in the chat, links in the description of this video, theeaglesacademy.com, where you can go there. Membership has its privileges. Let me empower you. Let me speak life into you. Be a part of my mentoring and a program and sessions. The transformation that takes place, the testimonies, how you're able to network and partner with other individuals who are in genres of work like you are, and then are beyond that as well, who are in other arenas. It's great for you to network with them. No one of us has it all. Know it all really knows nothing at all. And so, as we join forces together, we're better together. You don't only go as far as your dream. You go as high and you go as far as your team. Join our team. TheEaglesAcademy.com. Let's soar to another level. Family in the mix is out of time. But y'all know I'm not out of truth. And so I want to thank you for rocking with me. I want to thank you for riding with me. I do want to thank you for rolling with me. Why? Because that's just how we roll. And we roll together each and every single weekday, Monday through Friday, for In the Mix. Did you get something from this show for show? Somebody's got to speak truth to power. Somebody's got to, as the old folks said, tell it like a TI is. Not in a place of hatred, but in a place of love, truth, togetherness, unity for our community. So I want to thank you for rocking with me. And then we do that each and every single weekday, Monday through Friday, for In the Mix right here on the YouTube side. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Come on, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Yes, we do that right here on the social media side as well. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. We don't stop at Eddie Connor Jr. Sincere salute to all of you who have been watching us on our sister satellite stations on social media. Yes, EDDIECONNORJR. Follow me on all the social sites. Put some respect on my name, family. Just got a question for you. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Step this way, step that way. Yeah, by friending me and following me on social media. Y'all keep showing love. I'm going to keep showing up. And I'm personally inviting you to join me at the Remnant Worshipers Church, where I'm blessed to pastor each and every single Sunday. Each and every single week, Sunday, 10 a.m. I want to see your face in the space and in our place. But also, we have Bible study, 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. An hour before Bible study starts at 6 p.m., we have prayer. So I would that you would join us there. Would love to see your face in the place at the Remnant Worshipers Church. You say, well, where do I come? What address is it? 20470 Hubble Street. We're saving you a seat. Check us out, trwchurch.org. And that's where you can also get some church merch. Yeah, church merch. trwchurch.org. If I can help you, if I can serve you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Get any of my books. I got 18 of them out there on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Audible, theeaglesacademy.com/books. If you're looking for a dynamic speaker, now why would you look any further? Come on, you know I'm the man for the job. So invite me to speak at your church, your conference, your community center, your school, your graduation, your session. Let's make some progression. Email me to invite me, info@eddieconnor.com. And it would be an honor for me to empower you. Yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand. Your brother, and I mean that, from another mother. Family has been fun, but you know, brother, gotta run. So I want you to know it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you, yes, you, to go vote. King, to go vote. Queen, and remember to keep the faith and believe it's going to be bigger, better, brighter, peace, and a whole lot of love. keep soaring higher. Family, there is power in partnership, and we are better together, which is why I am on a mandated mission to activate 30, yes, 30 new action takers who are ready to soar beyond their limits. I'm ready to develop and deploy you into your gifts and your greatness. Now, are you ready? Well, get activated by joining the Eagles Academy, where we cultivate your gifts and your talents to become the greatest version of yourself. And we do this through weekly mastermind sessions where you receive strategies for exponential growth with self-paced Eagles Nest reflections that include personalized feedback to transform you, to renew your mindset, to empower you to take action and actualize your purpose. Are you an action taker? If so, today I ask you, are you ready to answer the call? Well, great. Then visit theeaglesacademy.com and become a member. For only $24.99, you will unlock unlimited knowledge and resources that will launch you and catapult you into the greatest version of yourself. I invite you to the winner's circle. On your mark, get set, go right now to theeaglesacademy.com and seize this moment.